If you're new to this story, please check out the playlist in the description and feel free to start from the beginning. Aftermath of the capture. Following the successful capture of the Veritan cruiser, the atmosphere aboard the Prometheus was electric. It was a significant victory, their first real breakthrough against Zorvan's fleet, and the crew reveled in the triumph. Yet for Admiral Kira and her senior officers, the capture signaled the beginning of a new phase, one fraught with challenges and fraught with potential insight into Zorvan's operations. In the secure detention area, the captured Veritans were held under strict security measures. They were fighters, loyal to Zorvan, their hardened demeanor a testament to the many battles they had been through. Yet, there was a visible edge of fear in their eyes. They were now in enemy territory, their fate uncertain. While the human forces celebrated their victory, Ambassador Solon received the news with a sense of relief and renewed hope. It was a turning point, one that could potentially sway the Veritans still loyal to the Council against Zorvan. He wasted no time in presenting this development to the Galactic Council, highlighting the importance of this success in their fight against Zorvan.
The capture of a Veritan cruiser from Zorvan's fleet demonstrates our determination to protect our territories and our people,
Solane announced to the Council.
We must use this opportunity to learn as much as possible about Zorvan's plans, and use this information to counteract his destructive activities.
Back on the Prometheus, the interrogation of the captured Veritans was underway. Admiral Kira, with her seasoned intelligence officer, Lieutenant Shira, was careful to ensure that the interrogations were fair but thorough. Shira, a skilled polyglot and a seasoned intelligence officer, was adept at handling such complex situations.
We need information, not resentment,
Admiral Kira instructed her.
These Veritans are soldiers, just like us. Treat them with respect, but be persistent. We need to know everything about Zorvan's plans.
In the dimly lit interrogation room, Shira began the process, her calm demeanor in stark contrast to the apprehensive Veritan soldiers. She engaged them in conversations, subtly navigating towards the information they needed. The Veritans were initially reticent, their loyalty to Zorvan apparent. But as the hours turned into days, cracks in their resistance began to appear. As the interrogations progressed, important pieces of information started to emerge. Zorvan was indeed planning something big, although the captured soldiers did not have detailed information. Yet, every bit of information was crucial. It was a complex puzzle that was slowly taking shape. Meanwhile, on the Veritan homeworld, news of the capture reached the ears of the Veritan command. The public sentiment, already tense due to Zorvan's activities, became more divided. Some saw this as proof that Zorvan was leading them down a destructive path. Others viewed it as a declaration of war by the humans, further fueling their resentment. For Ambassador Varro, the news brought a mixture of relief and concern. It was a positive development in their struggle against Zorvan, but it also meant an escalation in tension. It put additional pressure on his mission to reach out to Zorvan. In the Galactic Council, debates raged on regarding the captured cruiser. Some council members were jubilant, seeing this as a major victory. Others were more cautious, recognizing the delicate situation they were now in. They needed to tread carefully. One wrong move could potentially ignite the volatile situation into a potential all-out conflict again. As the days passed, the captured cruiser's information was meticulously analyzed and cross-referenced, revealing patterns and possibilities. The pieces of the puzzle were slowly falling into place. They were yet to see the complete picture, but each new revelation brought them a step closer to understanding Zorvan's endgame. And so, the aftermath of the capture marked a period of intense activity, filled with anticipation and determination. It was a window of opportunity they had earned, and they were intent on making the most of it. The hunt for Zorvan was far from over, but for now, they had gained a crucial edge: Varro's pursuit and challenges. Varro set forth on his mission with a sense of deep trepidation. It wasn't the danger that gnawed at his nerves, but the prospect of facing his fellow Veritans. He would not be greeted as a comrade, but viewed as a turncoat, a pawn of the humans and the Galactic Council. His contact on Orinthia was a former acquaintance, Vosh. He wasn't sure what drew Vosh to Zorvan's cause, but Varro hoped their shared past might help bridge the divide. The negotiations for a meeting with Zorvan were delicate, fraught with tension and suspicion. Vosh was careful, always keeping a safe distance, never committing to more than vague suggestions. But Varro was patient, employing all his diplomatic skill to prove his sincerity. Word of the successful human ambush of a Veritan cruiser arrived amidst the tense negotiations. The news gave Varro a much-needed leverage. The humans had managed to capture an entire Veritan crew. The crew's knowledge could prove a significant asset in tracking down Zorvan. The balance of power was shifting, and not in Zorvan's favor.
The humans' victory won't buy their safety, Varro. It will only infuriate Zorvan.
Vosh cautioned during one of their secretive meetings.
Perhaps,
Varro conceded,
but it's a sign that the Council and the humans are not to be underestimated. It's a call for Zorvan to reassess his strategies.
Vosh regarded Varro with a thoughtful expression, his deep-set eyes reflecting the dim light in the clandestine meeting place.
Zorvan will not appreciate you using this as leverage, Varro.
I am not here to make Zorvan appreciate anything.
Varro replied evenly.
I am here to prevent more violence, more deaths.
His words hung heavy in the air between them. Varro was well aware that the weight of his mission was much more than an ideological dispute. Lives were at stake, both Veritan and human. The future of his race hinged on the decisions that would be made in the coming days. Vosh finally agreed to arrange a meeting with Zorvan, but he warned Varro.
Zorvan will not be swayed easily. He believes in his cause with all his heart. You must be prepared for that.
Varro accepted the caution with a nod, his thoughts turning to the daunting task ahead. He was aware of the challenge, yet he also knew that he carried the hope of peace within his grasp. He was not just negotiating for the humans or the Galactic Council, but for his people, the Veritans. As he prepared for the meeting, Varro couldn't help but reflect on the weight of his actions. He held the future of his people in his hands. His success or failure would shape the fate of not only the Veritans, but countless other races within the Galactic Council. This thought was both humbling and terrifying, but it drove him forward. Varro set out to meet Zorvan armed with the knowledge of the humans' victory and the fragile hope of peace. He knew the odds were against him. He knew Zorvan was a formidable opponent, driven by a deeply entrenched belief in Veritan supremacy. Yet he had to try, for the sake of his people and the future of the galaxy. As Varro's shuttle hummed through space, he gazed out into the blackness, lost in thought. The stars twinkled, distant and cold, oblivious to the turmoil within his mind. Ahead lay an uncertain path, fraught with risk and the potential for disaster. But there was also a glimmer of hope, a chance for peace, and Varro was determined to seize it. As he journeyed to the clandestine meeting, he went over the talking points in his mind. He needed to convince Zorvan of the futility of his campaign against the humans. With a captured cruiser and its crew in human hands, it was only a matter of time before they located Zorvan. Upon landing, Varro was met by Zorvan's trusted officers who led him to a meeting room. The room was austere, reflecting the grim situation they found themselves in. Zorvan, the renegade general, stood at the far end of the room, his imposing figure a demonstration of his military prowess. Varro wasted no time, addressing Zorvan directly.
The humans have captured one of your cruisers, Zorvan.
He began, not mincing words.
They have your soldiers, your technology. It's only a matter of time before they track you down.
Zorvan's reaction was unreadable, his face a stoic mask. He seemed to digest the information, a contemplative silence hanging in the air.
And what do you suggest, Varro?
He finally asked, his voice steady.
I suggest you consider negotiating.
Varro answered, maintaining eye contact.
End this campaign. It doesn't have to escalate further.
Zorvan seemed to consider this for a moment, his gaze shifting to a distant point.
Negotiate?
He echoed, an edge to his voice.
With the humans who stole our technology, desecrated our trust?
I understand your grievances, Zorvan,
Varro said, his voice calm.
But this war, it's tearing us apart. It's turning the galaxy against us. We're stronger united, not divided.
The room fell silent once more, Zorvan deep in thought. The tension was palpable as Varro waited for his response, knowing that the future of their race, and possibly the stability of the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. Meanwhile, back in human space, the information gleaned from the captured cruiser was being put to use. Patrols were increased, defenses strengthened, and counter-offensives planned. The captured Veritans, despite their initial resistance, were starting to cooperate more, the realization of their dire situation slowly sinking in. The humans, it seemed, were slowly but surely closing in on Zorvan. Back at the council, Solane was making preparations of his own. Upon hearing of Varro's risky meeting with Zorvan, he had used his influence to arrange an emergency council meeting. If Varro could convince Zorvan to consider negotiations, they would need to be ready to act quickly. As Varro left the meeting with Zorvan, he felt a mix of hope and anxiety. Zorvan had agreed to consider his proposal, a small victory, but the final decision was yet to be made. As he journeyed back, he knew that the coming days would be critical. The capture of the Veritan cruiser had indeed changed the dynamics of their standoff with Zorvan. The hunt for the renegade general was entering a critical stage, and everyone, from the human territories to the Galactic Council, held their breath, awaiting the outcome of these renewed negotiation attempts. Alone in his office at the Galactic Council Solane, his gaze fixed on the holographic star chart displayed before him, he pondered over the inexplicable cosmic occurrences. The chart flickered, revealing the vast expanse of the galaxy. 2 dots, once brightly glowing, now dimmed to near obscurity. Those were stars, each located in different reaches of the galaxy. Both had gone dark without explanation. His brow furrowed in concern as he tapped on the latest report that confirmed the disheartening news. Another star had dimmed, its light extinguished as if someone had doused a cosmic candle. Solane could feel the gravity of the situation pressing down on him. These were natural cosmic bodies, each one burning with a ferocity that defied human comprehension. The inexplicable extinction of 2 such stars sent a chill running down his spine. There were no immediate answers, no hypotheses that could explain this unnatural phenomenon. He glanced back at the star chart, his eyes gravitating towards the now darkened points, a silent testament to the mystery that was unraveling. One star was a curiosity, a cosmic anomaly that spurred concern. But 2? That was more than just a coincidence. The implications were potentially dire, but Solane knew he couldn't afford to be distracted. As unsettling as these darkened stars were, he had more immediate crises to deal with.